Foundlings, and welcome to another episode of the Odd Campaign. I am Quentin, your GM, host, voice actor, and individual who will be running the session for you.
This is our third intro test.
Yeah, well, listen, the mics don't work. I'm bad at my job, and now we're here, so all is well.
Anyway, hi, Foundlings. My name is Emily. I am here today playing Snow. She is the leader of the Odd Guild, alongside with her faithful wolf companion, Nachia, who is the king.
Yes.
Yes, Nachia, your voice has changed slightly. That rough sounded a little bit deeper.
I got older.
Oh, ew, God, no.
So, when last we left off on the Odd Campaign, it was on a more somber note, as a number of the individuals were conflicted. The guild somewhat torn in two. About half of the guild wishing to stay and fight the injustice of this game for the sake of the innocent civilians who are still plagued by this reality, and the other half sympathetic to the lives of their family members and just longing to return home. They're leaning towards the option of Camille's offer to leave the game. But first, some individuals still have unfinished business to attend to. And I think that is where we're going to start this half session of the Odd Campaign.
Right. I find
this
this interesting. This is happening after. Right now, we're recording this after. We're liars.
Right.
Big fat liars.
No, this is all recorded in one sitting.
One sitting after.
I mean, I've sat once.
After Snow's very emotional, and as the GM believes, unnecessary interaction with
No,
Wilson.
I didn't say the interaction was unnecessary.
It was just the result.
I just said that Snow's motivations were shrouded in mystery.
Oh, would you like me to clarify those?
No. Keep the audience on the edge of their seat.
Oh, yeah. You know, guys.
Drama, for the sake of drama.
Drama, for the sake of audio novellas. Audio novella.
It's true. We're no tele here.
All right. So, yeah. So, I would say it's the next morning for Snow when she decides that she needs to try and clean up some of her past business and maybe get clarification if she's able to on her next steps.
So, where does she go?
Snow decides, since she's already close to Castle Rimidolf, she is going to go and speak with her ally, Iravanok.
I suppose then that you would just teleport to Castle Rimidolf.
Yeah. You know, I keep going there during the daytime.
Which is terrible for vampires. So they're just like incredibly tired every time you show up.
No, okay, fine. She has to wake up earlier than she would normally. So she gets up before the crack of dawn.
Okay, so like nice and like 5 a.m.?
Yeah, we'll say like 5 a.m. She had a terrible time sleeping, so it's very obvious that she has just, you can see it in her face, just the dark circles under her eyes and just this worried expression that is written all across her face. And so she teleports to Castle Rimidolf.
As is seemingly the curse of this floor, you notice that the full moon still hangs in the air, as it does every night. It brightly illuminating the courtyard of grandeur, as you recall it, but it seems weathered and disheveled. Not as well kept as it generally is. It is scarred, grass turned up, charred in certain instances. You even see weapons littering the ground.
Snow immediately she gets worried. And she has this sinking feeling in her chest. What the hell happened? And she starts running towards the castle doors. Does she see anybody?
You do not see a soul.
That's funny because they're all undead vampires and technically, technically
speaking, per lore. And you open up the double-wide gates to the grand entrance leading into the throne room of Castle Rimidolf.
Okay. She does this and then realizes this could be dangerous, and she unsheaths her sword and then more carefully making her way down the hallway.
Cautiously push the door open ever so slightly, just so you can peek through. You notice that the braziers are lit, illuminating the building, but you see there's columns in the great hall. Some are shattered, stone, rubble, lying all over the floor. The long red carpet leading to the throne room singed on its fringes. Opening up the door slightly wider, you're able to gaze down to the throne, and you do still see sitting there, though disheveled and exhausted, the Queen, Iravanok.
She stands in the doorway, looking at her royal figure, and begins slowly approaching, not really saying a word, letting the air speak for itself, until she finally gets close enough, and she offers a very solemn bow. Your Majesty.
And where have you been?
My guild and I made our way to the 20th floor, and we obtained a powerful relic. She hesitates to speak about Camille for a moment, but then she looks up at her, danger in her eyes, and we encountered a common foe.
More common and more of foe than I realized. What is it that you have done?
Snow looks mildly confused. Does it sound like it's accusatory in a way? Or is it like a genuine, like, should I roll a sense motive?
Yeah, you can.
20 total.
It is a genuine question, but it does seem to have an inkling of disdain mixed into it. The Queen notices your hesitancy and your pondering as you're attempting to read the room. Or rather, should I ask, do you know what you've done?
She bites back on her lip. There is a flash of anger in her, which she suppresses, but it's very distinct in her own words. What I have done? Your Majesty, I don't understand the question.
When last we spoke, you perceived to have left me with a token. That which you rightfully determined to be of value to Camille was more valuable to her than perhaps you thought.
Wow. Okay, this is so cool. Okay. I shouldn't be proud of myself, but at the same time, okay, anyway.
That, in combination with your absence and your threatening of her schemes, brought forth calamity on this nation, on this castle, on my people.
Wow. There's a lot that's happened here. That's
You weren't expecting these.
No, I'm happy. Things have happened.
I still have twists and turns.
She kind of chuckles almost at herself at this point. It seems I just keep making very poor choices recently. I'm sorry. I didn't want for any of this to happen. I didn't intend to be gone for so long. I didn't realize that she would do anything like this. What, if I can ask, exactly happened?
It started in Yenamut, the most unassuming of places. But as you may or may not be aware of, the population had been dwindling, people going missing, until it was seldom but a ghost town. Until, quite strangely, we found a resurgence of population, though not that as we recall them. The inhabitants, twisted, corrupted, returned as vile sea creatures. They stormed through, attempting to break into the gates. Of course they were of little concern. Their might, nothing compared to ours, nor truly their numbers, but day after day they did not cease, till well beyond the population of Yenamut. They came in droves, surrounding us. Still, This we could handle. For Castle Rimidov is an incredibly well-defended keep. The mountains to our sides, our gates to our front, and the cliff to our south. Little though did we expect the werewolves, as we were being sieged via attrition, there was something which slipped our minds. Something just ever so slightly out of reach. I'm not sure if you've ever been privy to the Werewolf Glen. It is a location where we have relocated the inhabitants who have been cursed with lycanthropy, and they are to live out their lives in peace and bliss. But somehow they all managed to escape. They scaled the southern cliffs with their knife-like claws as they dug into the stone skates. And all of that, honestly, would have been good and well, but as if in a coordinated assault, we were besieged by players.
What? Do you know who?
From my understanding, they are of Epitaph, the Fourth Seal, the Eastland Raiders, and Arcanists Anonymous.
They're working for Camille. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Who? She looks away from Iravanok, almost in shame, and then slowly turns back. Who's left?
We are dwindling in forces. Only about a third of the Queen's Guard remains. Thankfully, the ladies-in-waiting and the kitchen staff were able to be tucked away for a time. Our head librarian, Lucian, was killed, along with our only clergy member, Constantine. Do you know how hard it is to have a religious vampire?
Yeah, I understand that. That's very unfortunate.
Of the Queen's Guard, Darius remains, though he is mourning the loss of his lieutenant.
No, GM, say it ain't so.
Under his command is but Carmen, Zenobia, and Victor. The four of them are what remain.
No, and Dorian? No.
An eye for an eye, it would seem, as we took Camille's right-hand man. She thought it would be justice to have him watch as she murdered the apprentice stewards in front of him, and then take him from me. You see, as swirling between her hands now is a very powerful magic, chromatic and gray, until it kind of pulsates and emanates and surrounds the room. And you recognize this effect as you are now in the mirror dimension. They were only computer programs, but I'd spent the last 5 months with them.
I'm so sorry. Do you want a hug? I know that's not going to solve anything, but I also don't know how, some of my magic works, but I might be able to bring a few of them back. If you have, I think it's a diamond or something like that, but that's an option.
I'm not sure how resurrecting the undead works. And furthermore, my admin console isn't allowing me to bring them back. It's as if they were deleted from the game.
This is too much. She really wanted to flex her power, didn't she?
Why is it you've returned, Snow?
Because I consider you a friend. And you have a better idea of everything that's going on. More than I do of how this is all affecting everyone else. But when we were on floor 20, Camille came to our group and she offered us all a deal. Or at least those that acquiesce. Morale in my guild is low. I think I have maybe about 10, maybe 11 people that want to take the deal.
And what is it that she could have possibly offered?
She's going to let us log out of the game.
You see as Irvanok erupts with anger. She what? How?
Is that a laugh?
Why? You? Of all people.
I don't know. I mean, she doesn't like that we've gotten too close to whatever she's doing. Or messing it up, I guess. But she's really been flexing her power, and it's brought the morale in my guild low. I mean, even my right-hand man, Wilson doesn't want to be here, and he wants to leave, and I can't stop him. That would be wrong. And the only thing I could think is if I could get out, maybe I can do something outside. If I can get in. I asked her, and just like, can you hear? I don't. So in this mirror dimension, there's her throne, right?
Yeah. Everything is as it is in reality.
It's just
flipped.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to hold on to your handles and just don't let go of them, no matter how angry you get, please.
You see as she firmly grasps the edges of her throne.
The stipulation is everyone in my guild has to be in agreement to leave. And it's strongly implied that for this to even go through as well is that I have to leave. That's the only thing I could interpret it as. Because I'm the one that's in charge of the guild. So, I might also be leaving.
After you come here, spinning tales of grandeur, raising confidence for your plight, rally the troops and the spirits of my people and myself to join your cause. And you say you are just going to leave.
That's not...
I'm sorry. Isn't it? Is that not what you just said?
It's part of it, but there's more. I can't do anything in here. I haven't been really able to do much. The problem is I keep running into wall after wall, and she just keeps finding me no matter what I do.
Do you think Camille as an individual would spend her time and resources to disrupt someone who has not made progress? She does not have a vendetta against you. It is that you are close, too close to something of value to her.
You mean the servers?
Camille Lassimus is not an administrator, darling. She is the administrator. This is her project. She is the overseer. If this were to fail, her entire career would be up in flames. If you destroy the databanks on the 20th floor, everything she has worked for be for naught. And she cannot have that happen, though you are fortunate enough that she cannot intercede directly.
I get it. It sounds like I'm just offering you a cheap cop-out here. The fact is, I am not a leader. I am just a nursing student. I don't know what I'm doing. I have been doing this all blind, and I feel like if I continue down this path, I'm going to risk people's lives. I have to get out who I can. I am going to try to do something from the outside. I know this sounds stupid, but okay. How do I word this? I'm going to try to get in. I asked Camille if she would give me a job. Everything that's been going on is far, far beyond my pay grade. So I don't know what you want me to do here, but when somebody comes to me and keeps showing me, even if I'm getting close, it doesn't help if the people that I have been trusting this entire time have lost the will to do anything. And I'm not going to risk their lives. I'm not going to risk Wilson's life or Draken's or anybody else's life if I don't have to. If they can get out, then I will get them out. And I will do everything I can to get everyone else out, but I can't justify risking everyone's life when I don't know. Especially if she has other players on her side. Those guilds are much bigger than what we have. And I don't know what they're willing to do.
Like you, it seems. They are willing to do whatever it takes to get back home.
And I know it's not fair. I can't even ask you to continue offering any support. You have no one left. And I wouldn't blame you if you could never forgive me. But I hope you will. It's really funny, not only you as a person, but also it's surprising how there's these other characters, these other NPCs that I have found that have been like a mentor to me. Like Alani, for example. I don't know if you know about her programming. Why are you laughing?
Oh, sweet child. As you are to be an employee soon of Oros, know that you have earned the favor of a very important individual.
I'm sorry, what? What's that supposed to mean? That's very ominous, and I don't like that.
Have you ever wondered why, if you are troubling Camille so greatly, that you aren't already dead? A game admin who could just teleport you in front of a pit of lava. Or admin command spawned CR20 creatures to eat you alive.
I have been wondering that, yes. I just assumed that there were rules in place. I hope and pray that's the case.
It is because you and a number of the members of your guild have curried favor. Unintentionally, though it may be, it turns out that you are genuinely some exquisite specimens. You are not alone in this, of course, which was the entire goal of this game, was to identify these individuals. Ask your new employer. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to enlighten you in regards to the general overview and purview of the purpose this game holds. The weight, the gravitas. This game, it does not impact a few thousand people. It will impact generations.
Snow is just standing there, her face neutral, but her mind is racing with just pure confusion. Okay, so then what are you saying about other people? What does this mean? Exactly, I don't get it.
All that is done today is focused on a better tomorrow.
Uh-huh. You seem to be taking this information and news I've given you much better than I thought. I mean, you seemed a little upset. Are we okay now? I'm very...
Amelia.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like your... No. Is Irva not even your real name?
No.
No, what the heck is your real name?
Irene.
Right. Oh God, Irene. I didn't mean to say it that way, but yeah. Irene, okay.
I was upset by the loss of individuals I cared about. I did genuinely come to care for them, Our mission here was to map out the human brain, understand its nuances, its intricacies, while simultaneously furthering the advancement of artificial intelligence. To such a high degree we succeeded. To think that these ones and zeros came to life in such a beautiful display of human emotion, the joy, the loyalty, the pain and suffering they could feel. We did a truly remarkable job.
Yeah. And she smiles, thinking back to many of the NPCs that she's interacted with.
But all of this was for the sake of one individual. An individual who, as I mentioned, you have curried favor with. They seem drawn to you. I do not know why, for his ways are beyond me, but he is truly remarkable. Though Oros has many sectors, branches, employees, and upper echelon, there is one that stands above the rest.
God?
It would almost seem like a prophet, but he is our visionary. And he seems drawn to you.
How do you know this if you're in here and he's out there? I thought you didn't have a way or link out.
Part of the purpose of SAO was to map out the human brain, test the boundaries of artificial intelligence for the sole purpose of uploading one's consciousness so that it may live on for eternity. As such, this was Ground Zero, the first large-scale test of its kind. Of course, we did trials, but this was the proof of concept. We uploaded his consciousness in multiple forms as artificial intelligence, mapping out all of his deepest understandings and desires, giving them a slight variation on his personality. One by one, they reached out to you. Alani, Ishtar, Asela.
I find it slightly, interesting they were all ladies.
Those are just the ones you encountered.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
You never went to the Dwarven City on the first floor, did you?
No.
See, did you even know there was a Dwarven City on the first floor?
I think Grog mentioned it.
See, exactly, that's what I'm referring to.
Oh, well. Well, I'm sorry. You guys made this so humongous that we couldn't actually explore everything. But, why trap so many people in here? Are these actually people that are trapped in here then? I don't...
The players are genuine.
Oh, God.
We needed a voluminous number of test cases.
So, at the end of all this, are people just gonna... Or, like Stefan said, are everyone just gonna die?
They will wake up, as if distant dream.
So Stefan's wrong, then?
He was an outside contractor. We were meeting a deadline, as one could understand, and we needed additional personnel.
Oh.
He was not filled in the entirety for the sake of perpetuity. Not everything was disclosed to him.
Okay, so how long was this supposed to go for?
About 6 to 9 months.
In the real world or in-game?
From individual's perspective, in-game.
So, how long is that out of game? Is Stefan's time awareness right?
And what did he tell you?
I mean, he said that it was going so fast that it could be a few days out of game and that our brains would expire within 6 months.
We did stretch it, maybe a little further than we should. Which is why I gave the time frame 6 to 9 months in game, as we are very closely monitoring each and every individual here. As you can understand, the company cannot have negative feedback.
Yeah, could you imagine the lawsuits?
As such, we are not attempting to stretch our luck too far.
Wow. So when all of this is said and done, what happens to the nerve gear? Does it just does it function? Or...
As any VR headset would.
Will this game disappear?
It will be a shell of its former self.
And What about what happens when people die in the game? Are they okay, or something happening to them?
They will wake up like any other.
Why couldn't you have just said that from the beginning?
Because, dear, we needed the genuine human emotion.
That's really messed up, you know? I'm sorry, It's good news, but I'm also mildly upset and relieved all at once, and I don't know how to feel about that beyond. I'm sorry, hold on. And she definitely is crying, the tired exhaustion on her face. Fully you can see it, just everything. The tension in her shoulders, it's all conflicting. Okay. That made a lot of the things that I did earlier today really awkward. I don't know how I'm gonna look him in the eyes. I probably just let him figure it out on his own, because I don't think me explaining anything's gonna help anybody. Okay.
The only caveat, of course, you will, if you perish in game, wake up like any other. But, as I mentioned, it will be like waking up from a distant dream, one that, no matter how hard you try, you cannot recall. The fortunate thing, for those who are granted the privilege of logging out, is you will retain your memories.
That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on who it is. But, okay, that definitely helps a lot. Thank you for being so forthright with me and explaining, because that makes this decision a lot easier.
Amelia?
Yes? You're mad at me still. I don't like that face.
Now that you know.
I can't tell anybody.
If you do, not even the favor you have curried can save you. There are strict rules which we all must abide by. If you breathe a word of this to anyone, you and all those who share that information will be eliminated on the spot.
I had a feeling it was that way anyway. After all, I was already told by Camille I couldn't really say anything about what she offered me. Which, wait, I'm telling you this. Don't tell her I told you.
You are fine.
Okay.
Though she is a colleague, I have no positive inclination towards Lysimus.
So she basically just tormented you for the past few nights?
She wanted me to understand my status in the pecking order of Oros.
Well, on the upside, maybe I'll see you at work. Probably not. You'll probably be way up there and I'll never see you again. But, yeah, this was good talk. I feel better. I don't think I made you feel any better, though. So there is that.
I will just proceed with my assignment and bide my time. It is but a month, perhaps 2 at most, and then all of this, from the perspective of those in game, will be over.
Well, you have my word. I won't tell anyone. I'm pretty good at keeping secrets. Much to the chagrin of many of my friends. So there is that. So it's a boon, all right? Okay. Right. Well, I guess I'll just go quietly into that good night.
Good night, Snow.
No, that was a famous line. But yeah, good. Yeah, oh, god dang.
Good night, Moon.
Good night, Moon. All right. Well, shall we reassume our positions? Wait, shoot. Do I have to fight myself? No!
So after having your conversation with the Queen, as per is customary into entering the mirror dimension, Snow had a fierce and brutal combat with her mirror self, after which she was thoroughly exhausted, kind of lethargically limping her way to her manor as the sun rises over the horizon. And it's the start of a new day. And I think that is where we're going to end this halfway session of the Odd Campaign. Close out!
Thank you, Foundlings, for listening to this week's episode of Sword Art Online Odd. We hope that you enjoyed that and got a lot of inside information. Players, if you listen to this episode, you better, I don't know, commit seppuku. You were not supposed to listen to this. I know who you are.
And where you live.
And where you live. I actually won't know if you listen to it. Anyway, so, yes. So we do have one thing that we really need to do, though.
A special thank you to our patrons who support us on Patreon, because that's how patrons work. So a special thank you to Stephen Howland and Jason Lillis for supporting us on Patreon. It really does go a long way to helping us be able to continue this and produce all of the content that we do for you, and it encourages us to produce more and obviously give you special treats on Patreon when we can. So if you would like to help support the podcast, please do feel free to join us on our Patreon so that you can help continue to support this podcast as it grows.
And if you can't support us monetarily, there is always the option of telling your grandma. Well, don't tell your grandma, because honestly, I learned that my mom, when she listens to this episode, this podcast,
lost.
she has no idea what's going on. So tell somebody that can actually follow a story.
Probably like your cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe like college roommate if you have one.
And then you can awkwardly sit there and go, oh my gosh, this is so cringe.
Yes.
Why am I
As you watch it, as you listen to it right next to them and you're looking at them in the eyes.
Yeah.
You can feel all of the emotions simultaneously.
I cringe every time I listen to my voice.
When I do a female voice.
Every time I do a stupid,
which was the entirety of this episode.
Awkward interaction, because I am very awkward in real life. So there's that. Anyway, but you can also support us by joining us in our Discord and hanging out with us. Give us that emotional motivation to let us know that you exist. Thank you. And as always, we do want to give a big thank you and shout out to those who allow us to use their music and ambiance in our show. Michael Ghelfi of Michael Ghelfi Studios, Monument Studios, Epidemic Sounds, and Artlist. For all of their various artists that we have, all of those links are in the description below. So, as always, thank you again for listening to this week's episode, and we hope you'll stick with us for next week on another episode of Sword Art Online Odd. Bye-bye!
Bye, guys!